Hi everyone, I'm violinist Hellen Weiss.
And I'm cellist Gabriel Schwabe. And our new album with works by Kodai and Ligeti will be released by Naxos worldwide on September 25th.
You can listen to it on Migu Music.
来自德国的大提琴家Gabriel Schwabe， 用他优雅的演奏和炉火纯青的技巧吸引着来自世界各地的大提琴乐迷，也被大家称为舞台上令人瞩目的存在。大提琴是他最好的伙伴，也是抒发情感最佳的表现方式。在这个过程中，他不断探索自我，汲取学识。在2020年初秋，全世界都还没有从疫情中苏醒的时期， Gabriel 和妻子 Hellen Weiss 一起携手演绎了匈牙利作曲家柯达伊和利盖蒂的经典作品。他们用共同的热忱以及个性化的演奏诠释出作品独特的韵味。值得一提的是，这也是夫妻两人首次录音合作，大提琴与小提琴两件乐器的碰撞，艺术家之间的惺惺相惜，以及夫妻间微妙的亲密关系，让这张演奏专辑充满了灵感碰撞。在特殊时期，如何调节身心状态，如何与这个世界相处，或许你可以从音乐中找到答案。
Well, Kodai and Ligeti, of course, are obviously Hungarian composers, and both are composers that have fascinated me personally for a long time, because they wrote two solo pieces, first of all, for cello, and they're important in our repertoire. And then there's this wonderful duo that Kodai wrote just a year before the solo sonata. And yeah, it was music that I think we both felt we wanted to record, and it makes sense to put these two together on one CD.
Yeah, and we played the Kodai duo quite often last year, and it felt right now to record it.
Yeah. Well, first of all of the pieces on the album are quite challenging technically. They have lots of virtuoso passages, whether in the two solo works or also in the duo, where especially the violin has a lot of passage work. So first of all, you have to overcome these technical difficulties, find a way to make it work for you, make it work instrumentally. But then, of course, the next step and the more challenging one, I guess, is to find the right kind of phrasing, because this music requires a very special approach, I think, and it has a lot to do with language, and you really have to think as though you were speaking much more than singing or making music in the first place. It really is music that has to talk to you, I think.
Yeah, and it's a very honest music and direct music, and there's a danger that it gets too emotional, and if you do too much, then it's maybe not the right direction. So we try to be very exact with what is written in the music, and to find an Hungarian language also in the music.
The recording itself was 3 days, I think, 3.5, which is, of course, very intense, because you have these challenging works that don't give you even a moment to lay back and kind of relax, but you have to be always on point.
It was in winter, and we both had a cold.
Oh yeah.
So I think, especially when you hear something suffering, we were also personally a little bit suffering because of our colds. But I think, there's no ending. We are also playing Kodai now in concerts, and every time it gets deeper and deeper. We get deeper and deeper into the music. So it's there will be that's a lifelong process to play Kodai.
Well, I started when I was around 8, I think. and it was the first instrument that I chose, actually, because I learned piano because my mother was a pianist, and I learned the violin, but the cello was the first instrument that I was old enough also to choose, to say this is the instrument I want to play. And I think that made a difference in the end. I noticed relatively quickly that I had a bit more of a natural ability for the cello than I had the violin. So things were much easier for me. Things that I struggled with on the violin, I could do instinctively on the cello. And I think that played a big part in me enjoying the instrument, which is very important, I think, as a kid, to keep going and to keep wanting to have lessons and improve. Yeah.
I started the violin and the piano when I was 5 years old. I was very, very young because my sister played violin and piano, and she's my older sister, so I wanted to do everything she did. And and this was actually very lucky for me that we could play chamber music at home, and that's why I always feel that enjoying music is very, very important.
Well, I grew up here in Berlin, so it's a city I know well, obviously. And it's a fantastic base, I think, to have, because anyway, we get to travel a lot, which is wonderful. But then you get to come back to a city that I think offers a bit of everything, yet is not as stressful as maybe other European capitals or big metropolitan areas around the world. So you get the artistic life, the buzz in that respect, without too much of the stress that comes with it normally.
Yeah, I think you have to enjoy music. You have to play a lot of chamber music, sing a lot, go to as many concerts as you can, and then be patient. And if something doesn't work the first time as you wanted to be, then try it again and figure out how does it work. Then you will succeed.
Yes, and I think what you say, the passion is absolutely crucial. So that is very important to find that. But then what I would also add is find out how to work, because if you find a way to practice economically and efficiently, that will make things much easier for you. So don't repeat all day long the same thing without thinking about it, hoping that it will get better, but find out how things work, and that will enable you to have all these wonderful experiences in chamber music and on stage with the instrument that are so wonderful for all of us.